that time again. Gather round, everybody, because the Grunge Bible Podcast is back with another episode. This is episode number 220, coming to you on June 9th, 2025. We're kicking summer off. My name is Chris Salona, and I'm joined by Ethan Shalloway. Ethan, what's happening, brother? How we doing?
Nothing too exciting. Just a solid week in the books. Good training, busy week, really busy. We're recording this Sunday, so
sneaking it in.
Yeah, we pushed it to the end of the week or beginning of the new week, depending. Do you count Sunday as the beginning or the end of a week?
I typically count it as the end of the week. It's just easier for me. Monday is the start of the week, in my view. Although honestly, like you could get a psychological boost from Sunday being the beginning of the week because it's like you start it with it not having a work day,
a day of rest.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you fall on one line or the other for this?
Yeah, I like Sunday being like fresh start, like get your stuff in order, like it kind of like you're kicking off the week. I think that's is that how it is? Yeah, that's how it is on the calendar book.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the beginning of the week. So
yeah.
So we're starting off the week strong.
Yeah, let's start it off.
Yeah, man, I'm doing really well. Body's hanging in there. It's feeling good. It was a productive week. I have a couple weeks here in Alabama where I'm just going to be rinse and repeat each day, just try to get better, try to catch up on a few things still, climb out of some holes,
Yeah.
But hopefully then, July will pick up. We got some travel. I'm going to go home, for a competition, Jab Fest, the Barnball World Championships will be on. Yeah, I'm really hoping that you're going to be able to make it this year. I don't know. We haven't talked about it.
I'm very hopeful that I can attend this year. Yeah. I'm due.
You took a year off, but I think that this one's gonna be the biggest one yet, as they say. Big things coming. So, family vacation in August. I'm really looking forward to getting to the beach. The beach in deep in the woods with no signal. It's like the only place that is like actually can disconnect. So. Yeah. It's just, just hard to do in today's world. So I'm looking forward to opportunity like that. And I don't know. I'm feeling good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, kind of similar vein that you're operating in. It was a busy week. It was pretty productive. Just a lot of things going on, and the fatigue levels are drawing higher, which is a little problematic because I don't have a reprieve yet. Got a busy couple of weeks coming up. This upcoming week on the 11th, I think, whatever Wednesday is. On the 11th, I'm going to see Queens of the Stone Age in Boston with the boys, which is great because they were supposed to do this show last year on September 28th, our birthdays. And as you obviously remember, we were in LA. So I was not able to go, but I think Josh from Queens got sick, so they postponed it, and I was able to scoop up a ticket. So I'm able to join the boys this week. So that's exciting. And then the following week, my brother and I and my mom as well, we're going to get together for a few days. Actually, in Philly, my brother's a big fan of a soccer team that plays in the UK, and they're coming over and playing some international matches or something.
So friendly.
Friendly. Yeah, a big friendly action. I think. I don't know. I don't fucking know anything about soccer, but we're gonna go down there for a little bit. So a couple days out of work, some
go
family
downtown
time,
if you will.
Oh yeah, let's go downtown tonight. Could be foreshadowing, but things are good. Week in review. Lifting's going pretty well. Big news too. My softball team is off to a scintillating 4-0 start. Some of my teammates requested that I shout them out on the podcast, which is jarring because I really hope
they listen.
One of them, I know for a fact, one of them has listened and was a very big fan of the Good Will Hunting episode that we did a long time ago. I'm not sure if others listen, but if you're out there listening, the Sharks are riding again. We're coming for the crown.
Is that the team name?
Oh yeah, we're the Sharks.
Like the what Sharks? What's your?
Oh, it's just
Providence Sharks.
No, it's a softball league full of law firms and various associated entities. So I just represent a law firm, but I don't work for the law firm, obviously. So I'd rather not say the name of the firm over the air.
I guess so. Yeah, it's pretty marketing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the cross section of people that listen to the podcast that are in the market for attorneys here in the Ocean State, but nevertheless, we're fucking rolling, dude, and it's going to be a good year. I've been hitting leadoff as I have the last few years, getting on base, making things happen. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
You didn't even shout out your friends.
Yeah, I guess I have to. Patty Stamps, Steve, and my good buddy Lucas.
There you go.
Oh yeah, we've got our
about that
shortstop,
in the
we've
bar
got
for
our
a
third
while.
baseman, we've got our second baseman, and I play first, so we're going around the horn there.
Heck yeah, that's great.
Yeah, man. Things are good.
Two things. One, I just saw in the majors there was a guy from the Marlins that was pitching, and he's warming up for the first inning, and he threw his last pitch, and at the end of warm up, it's
You throw down
routine.
a second.
You throw it on a second. Did you see this?
I did not see the clip, but I'd read that it had happened. He got dome pieced, right?
Oh, he got
By his
sniped.
catcher.
He got sniped by the catcher, dude. And the catcher threw a rope, an absolute perfect throw right over the pitcher mound to second base. And the pitcher, everybody's like, who's the... I mean, actually, everybody was on the catcher's side. Like, the catcher just stood there because the pitcher, he just dropped his head and got
Yeah, I mean,
sniped.
how many... this guy's been pitching for
it's
years.
coming.
You know it's coming.
Anyway.
Hey, I'd rather have the ball hit me than go over my head because it means the catcher's throwing accurately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So summer can be broken off into there's two modes, right? There's two phases that you live in. One, you're in the dog days and just the hot grind of work coming back. You just work a long day. You're kind of grinding summer, trying to get the summer money up for everything else. And then you have the other side where you're just on vacation and you have no sense of time.
Yeah.
And I feel like there really is no in between. It's everybody kind of operate. Everybody's either out of the office or they're kind of hammering away. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we're operating. And, when you're going through summer, in either of those cases, you need a really good playlist to make it through the summer. And so last year on this time, we did our summer of 2024 songs, our favorite songs that picked at random. They didn't come out in 24. They're all legendary songs. We actually did a lot of grunge, a lot of work related songs. If you're in, for me, I was talking about construction and you kind of took the after work hours of music, which is great. And so this year we're going to do something similar. We're going to give our 25 songs this summer because everybody needs a summer playlist, and there's a ton out there, but you might as well have some people that you know and trust make you a playlist. So that's exactly what we did. We made a 30-song playlist, 25 of our songs plus 5 honorable mentions that kind of represent some genres that we like listening to. But the bulk of the genre is, yacht rock, classic rock.
Just good stuff for the summer. Yeah.
Yeah. So we threw in a few other honorable mentions of genres that you may want to check out, but we made your playlist. Go no further. We'll put it up. It's only 30 songs, and we could go on, but we got to cut. We got to cut it off somewhere. So
yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a good list, and I know we'll talk about each song specifically, but I do find that during the summer months, I tend to gravitate towards the hits a little bit more. You know what you need. You know that they're there. There is no uncertain period. There's no evaluation period. You just got to call on what you know and play it loudly. So definitely got some favorites on this list. Some songs that are well worn in my listening history, and hopefully they're a good addition to everybody's summer soundtrack out there. No matter whether you're unplugging or whether you're hammering away, and I'll tell you, I'm definitely in hammering mode right now. I am most certainly plugged in and connected right now.
Yeah,
and
June is still we're still plugged in for June.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point where I can disconnect for a little bit, but I have to earn it now. There's a lot of bills that need to be paid and things that need to be done. So, looking forward to doing that. So,
speaking of bills being paid,
paying dues.
It's time to pay your dues if you're out there. So we do have a Patreon where you can go and support the podcast, the page, and Chris and I individually. Well, not individually, I guess, but Chris and I holistically for the podcast. So we have a $2, a $5, and a $10 tier. And of course, as many people have now adopted, you can build your own tier, which is great. And I feel like over the years, we've had some people give 7 or some random in-between marks, but some more people have been a little bit more generous. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're finding yourself, 50 episodes deep, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to stand on the sideline anymore. I'm going to get in the game. I want to support these guys a little bit. Maybe it's your first time using Patreon. It's really simple. It's one payment a month.
Couldn't be easier.
And we will talk about reviews and talk about the people supporting us at this point in the podcast every week. So yeah, please consider that as you're listening to this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have some movement amongst the Patreon ranks. We're going to cut right to the chase because I think a lot of people are concerned with the battle that's been brewing up at the top of the totem pole for our Patreon ranking system. And Abraham has once again wrestled away the top spot. The cutest basset hound in the world remains the cutest, and now is the top Patreon dog, literally and figuratively, jumping right up to $18.50 a month. So that is the figure to beat. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Abraham, for your support there. And then shortly thereafter, in second place, remains the Cracker Man, who made a mad dash to the top, but has since been rebuked by Abraham. So those are the two leading figures of the top tier. The other individuals who are in the top tier are A Bit Dusty, Black Hole, Sean D. Boat, Eddie Vedder Got Me Through My Second Divorce, Doug Endy, Gochu John, Apona, Heidi and Chains, Jamie Lynn, Jade Mercado, Carlene Salona, The Michael Dooley Project, King Buzzo Stole My Hair, Nikki Six Russell, Sherry Matthews, Seattle 4 Fanboy from New Jersey, Ultra Mega OK, and What the Fuck is Up Denny. So thanks, gang. And in addition to that movement up at the top, we do have a new member of the Patreon who has come home after being a member in the past. We would like to welcome back James Hunt from across the pond, who was a member back in 2023 and has recently re-upped. And we got a fantastic message from James that I'd like to read out here. And James writes in and he says, "Hey guys, after some time of being unsubscribed from your Patreon, I've chosen to sign up back again since I now have the money to do so. Sorry I missed your welcome message last time I signed up, but since I'm back, I'd like to say that this has been my favorite podcast ever since I watched episode 10 back when it first came out. Right in the middle of my obsession with Pearl Jam and the wider grunge genre. When I joined 2 years ago, it was because I'd listened to the podcast while on the night shift stacking shelves and would bring humanity and variety to an otherwise shitty job. It meant a huge amount to me to have that. I'm joining again now because it hit me how special it is to have such great content provided for free and funded completely by listeners in an age of inescapable advertisements and greedy businesses. I also have to thank you for introducing me to some sweet artists, including Petey, who I saw last year in Manchester, England. Hopefully someday I'll earn enough to give you a little more than $2 a month, but for now I hope it helps. Big love from across the pond, James." That's what it's all about. That makes me feel so good. And James, thank you so much. Even more so than your support on Patreon. Thanks for listening. I mean, being with us since episode 10, this is 220 today. So you're walking this path right along with us, and that means more than you could ever know.
Yeah, that's great. Just stocking shelves at the midnight, burning the midnight oil and listen to the pod and feeling a part of something, right? And getting on board, listening to Petey, taking the requests. So that means we're adding value, and that's all we can ask for. So we're proud to, be that podcast for all these people and everybody that steps up. It's so much fun. I was thinking, it would be cool if Abraham had like an Instagram account so he could actually make himself some money, so like the money was coming from the dog.
Absolutely, and self-fund the Patreon support.
Or he had his own Patreon to help pay for his Patreon.
One hand washes the other.
He's in line to send money over. So I don't know. It was just funny.
Yeah, that's great. But that's
I would get behind that.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I would repay Abraham's Patreon money back to Abraham. And then it just keeps on going around and around. But that's awesome. Super happy to have James back in the fold. And as he did state, we are 100% funded by the people. We're not in the industry of trying to sell people bullshit or asking them for ridiculous stuff or stupid stuff like that a lot of podcasts do. So it means a lot that people are stepping up to the plate and helping to make this thing continue. And speaking of stepping up to the plate, if you may remember last week we did a Patreon member requested episode, and it was about post-grunge, and it was requested by Plush Mike. And Mike wrote in and he said, "I finished watching this week's episode. Thank you guys for hitting on one of my topic ideas. You guys could have just hit a double with the subject matter, but you went deep. 444 feet with a 110 exit velo." Fist bump.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see that's how you know the guy listens to the pod.
Oh yeah, that's how you know. Yeah, and that's how you know he hasn't just dropped in, recently. Plush Mike has been with us, and oh man, I'm like moth to a flame when it comes to sports analogies on this show. So that's perfect.
Good stuff. Good
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Let's continue on, shall we? Before we get to our top songs for summer 2025, let's read out some events that have happened on this day in music history, June 9th. Ethan, would you like to kick it off here? Yeah, you want to kick it off here.
If you're watching, I'm holding up a picture of Mr. Les Paul, which, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things that you hear the name, and I just think of guitar, and like the fact that there is in fact a person named Les Paul that the guitar is named after.
I had this same reaction. Like, I didn't know who Les Paul was for so long, and then once I learned, I was like, well, it makes sense. Like, it has to be named after somebody.
Yeah,
like, what the heck is Les Paul?
It totally, you find that like companies the whole like oh wait, this is like the founding name, like of course, like.
So I have a good one for this that's exactly, and I'm sure you knew this for a while, but like, I'm not even kidding, like maybe a year and a half ago it just occurred to me that Newman's Own was named after Paul Newman. And like, I'd seen Paul Newman's picture on it for my whole life, and I just put it together that it's like that was Paul Newman.
It happens all the time. So, and back to what we were saying, Les Paul, the incredible forefather of the solid body and guitar, was born in 1915. Oh yeah. So you know, he was a jazz guitarist, and you know, I haven't listened to any of his stuff, but damn it, I'm gonna go do that. I need to see. Hopefully there's some recordings that's been over.
Yeah, there's some stuff out there. He formed an incredible duo with his wife Mary Ford, who was an incredible guitarist as well. And I became aware that Les
Ford
Paul
Motors?
was I became aware that Les Paul was an actual human, and watched some video of him and read about him a little bit because I was watching an episode of Pawn Stars, and somebody who was a descendant somehow in the family of Les Paul and Mary Ford had their guitars and took them into Rick Harrison's pawn shop trying to sell them. And that's how I learned of the legends, Les Paul and Mary Ford. So Les Paul obviously is no longer with us, but his legacy remains and reigns supreme anytime anybody picks up an electric guitar. So that happened on this day in 1915. Closer to my ballpark here, on this day in 1972, Bruce Springsteen signs with Columbia Records. His relationship with Columbia Records continues to this day, and to this point, he has released 21 studio albums underneath Columbia Records. So a very important day in history.
Yeah, gotta have some Bruce on there.
Oh yeah,
but it wouldn't be this day in music. And we've been on a dry spell for a little bit, but the king is back. Elvis Presley in 1972 made history by selling out 4 consecutive nights at Madison Square Garden. The big MSG, you know, selling it out. No easy task, but the man did it. The king did it 4 days in a row. And
I was reading about this one, and evidently prior to this 4-show sold-out run at MSG, it had been like at least a decade since he had played in New York City, which is really strange to think about. But of course, you know, he went away and did the film stuff for a while in the 60s, and then he had his comeback special in 68.
Probably got a PhD.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, I mean, by now, four consecutive nights is no longer. I mean, Fish does that every New Year's Eve, I feel like. So I don't know what the record is now. It's probably Billy Joel with the residency that we've spoken about from time to time, you know, over here on the podcast. But 1972, that's 2 events from 72 so far. So Springsteen signing with Columbia, Elvis selling out 4 in a row at MSG. And lastly, but not least, on this day in 1972, Mr. Puddle was born. Wes Scantlin, the front man of Puddle of Mud, began to grace the world with his presence. So happy birthday. Awesome. Happy birthday, Wes.
Happy birthday, Wes. Yeah, Mr. Puddle. He showed up on the last episode. Actually, in the wedding I went to last week, we did a karaoke. I went to a karaoke bar, and we did She Hates Me. And it was an absolute success. That's always the song that you got to do. You got to do it. Gets the crowd going. So
goes without saying.
Yeah. That's all right. Huge. So we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah. Do you have? There's 2 more. Do you see them?
There's 2 more. Yeah. I saw them, and actually, they kind of fit well with some stuff that happens in our playlist. They both have.
Yeah.
They're both. Well, actually, the second one's not, but
yeah. The second one is some bullshit though, so I would like to read that.
You would?
Yeah, I want to read this one.
Yeah, okay.
It's
I
ridiculous.
thought you said there was the last. Wes was the
Oh
last.
no, that was
one.
the last for 1972.
Oh,
We had a
yeah,
trio
yeah.
of events in
Okay,
72.
then
yeah.
I'll just we'll save the one, and you just do the last one in 2017.
Okay, yeah. So on this day in 2017, Gene Simmons of Kiss filed a trademark application for the devil horns hand gesture, which is in some circles known as like
Rock and
"I
roll.
love you" because it puts it out. But he filed a trademark application for this, which is bullshit because you can't trademark a hand signal. He claims that he invented that hand signal in 1974
Yeah, that's crazy.
and then got around to trying to trademark it in 2017, but it was a fruitless effort as 2 weeks later he would withdraw his trademark application. So this is just like, this is bullshit. I'm not a Kiss person. I don't understand the whole shtick. I don't really like their music, and I don't really see what the big fuss is about. And if the door was open even an inch or two, this firmly closed it shut for me for all time. Like you can't trademark something like that. And like, who do you think you are to try to trademark that?
That's for the people, dude. You're trying to like cultivate and take something from us, and that's not cool.
Yeah. No, that is.
I agree. I'm not a Kiss person. I don't never been one, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of speaking of disparaging remarks in the fact that we're out on Kiss, sometimes we like to read reviews here of the podcast itself. And I just remembered this one, but we received a review last week on episode 218, which was talking about film soundtracks and Josh Freese getting fired from the Foo Fighters. And the review was on Spotify, and it was one sentence, and it said, "Almost zero musical knowledge or insight to be found here." And I didn't recognize the name of who it was from, but it was from somebody named Matt Winiger, who turns out is a 2-time Grammy-winning producer who has worked for Primus, Fantastic Negretto, and Chuck Prophet. He produced Frizzle Fry, the Primus album from like 1991, and he was listening to the Grunge Bible podcast, and he doesn't like it.
I know what we need to do, Chris.
What's that?
We need to send him an email, invite him on the pod.
Oh, yeah.
How great would that
just
be?
give him
Like, hey,
20
man.
minutes. Like, tell us what you think.
Hey, we saw your review, and if you're it means he listened. So if you're listening now, we want to formally invite you on because, maybe we didn't get into the depths of the knowledge that you know. So why don't you come on here and give us a lesson? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's an open forum here.
He took the time to respond. So I think we move on that and see. I mean, because. Yeah, dude. Tell it to our face.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take it. I don't mind. I
can take it. It's not the first time.
Yeah, we're talking heads. There's people in the business. It's fine. So you know more than us. So come and prove it.
Yeah, I mean, we know that most people know more than us. Certainly, Matt
Yeah.
Winiger.
I'm not trying to say that we know everything.
No.
We never say that.
Right.
We actually say the opposite.
Yeah, we don't. We say that we don't know anything. So I don't know if that kind of got lost in translation, perhaps, and maybe Mr. Winiger felt that we were talking out of turn, perhaps. But that's not really how it is here. But yeah, we would be more than welcoming of his presence on
Frizzle
the
Fry.
podcast.
I mean, yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, debut studio album from Primus. I mean, you can't beat it. I just posted John the Fisherman earlier today on the page. So
I want to know if that's all he listened to.
I just want to know why.
I want to know.
Why? Yeah.
It's like when Bill brings on Pablo Torre.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we just got to air this out here. Is this going to be our first beef?
I mean, first on-air beef. We've had
Yeah.
beef, for sure.
Yeah, we've kept it behind the scenes. But hey, since he decided to leave a comment, we're extending the
public.
invitation. Now it's public.
All right, let's get to our top 25 songs. But before we do, we're gonna do a little bit of honorable mention. So
Yeah.
we had to cut it down. We wanted to do 25 songs for summer 25. So we had a few extra to start, and we're gonna cut it down right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I put on a Sublime song, and I believe it was a song of the week in the last 2
It
weeks.
was, yes,
Yep,
indeed.
Waiting for My Ruka, and Sublime is an excellent choice for summer listening. Really anywhere you go, and of course, just the reggae rock genre in general is going to be a mainstay for me. Like Dirty Heads, that's a must-have on the beach.
Yeah.
There's a ton of songs in there that I could have put in. I'm not a huge 311 guy, but people listen to 311.
A lot of people listen to
The
311.
Movement, Pepper. There's a ton of songs. So Just wanted to shout out the genre as a whole, and I wanted to put a Sublime song on there for everybody, but we had to make the cuts, and we're more classic rock. The hits, the hits.
Yeah, 100%. So that's that one's definitely gonna, it's included in the playlist, by the way. So the playlist will be 30 songs. So these are mentioned very honorably. One of my honorable mentions is going to be "Troubled Times" from the Screaming Trees 1992 album "Sweet Oblivion." I just, that kind of hard driving rock that I think they really captured on that album is a great, a great portion of a summer soundtrack. And "Troubled Times" is a great track that I don't think gets his due as much as some of the other tracks from the Trees, certainly from that album. It's a great album in its entirety, but "Troubled Times" is a great song.
Yeah. All right, next one for me that, again, had to put on the genre for a whole because they are themselves a whole genre, but "Touch of Grey" by the Grateful Dead. A lot of people are Deadheads, a lot of people are not Deadheads, so it was a little controversial, and I decided to keep the jam bands out of the summer playlist, but don't get it twisted. We're going to be listening to some jam music this summer. We're going to have our Goose, Fish, Grateful Dead, Widespread Panic, whatever you guys listen to,
Yeah.
and then all the deeper jams. But Grateful Dead really good for bringing up the mood, but or long drives. But at the same time, it's not for everybody, so I kept it off the list.
Best thing about them, if you're in an environment that is open to the Grateful Dead, you can queue up 3 songs and I'll take you through 45 minutes of the function, and then it's less work on the front end.
And the best part about it is you can pick literally any song from their discography, and someone's going to say, "Oh, this is a good one."
Yeah, exactly.
No matter, you will not get a Deadhead saying that you picked a bad song. They'll be like, dude, they'll bring up some concert that they love that version, and you will be an instant star. You don't even need to think. You just got to blindly throw at the dartboard, and you're going to hit.
Send it out there, and somebody's going to connect with it. My next honorable mention is going to be way down on Possum Kingdom Lake in Texas from the Toadies album Rubberneck. I'm going with Possum Kingdom. This one was very close to making my official list and not being an honorable mention, but as you said, cuts had to be made. But this is a pretty indispensable song, I think, as far as certainly 90s summer rock songs go. It's just, once again, it's kind of got that like hard driving piston-like quality to it, which is always welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got one more honorable mention because we had to. I cut.
I'm gonna jointly cut this one because I was really close to putting on these guys.
Oh yeah. So I picked this specific song not necessarily for it, but for the representation of the band, and then I wanted them to be on here. And that is the Killers with "Smile Like You Mean It." I've been obsessed the last week with the Hot Fuss album, which this is from. And I watched, I think it was Glastonbury. They performed in 2004. I think it was shortly, either right before or right after Hot Fuss came out. So they played, I think 6 songs from it. And man, absolutely unbelievable. I think it's going to be a big summer for the Killers, and it was cool. I posted a couple songs of theirs from that Glastonbury performance, and so many people who I would assume are probably like mid to late 30s that were teenagers back then. They're like, this is the soundtrack of growing up, and I'm always listening to them. And summer's a great time, obviously, to kind of reconnect with the soundtracks of our youth. So this one's out there for all those Killers fans out there.
I mean, it was in the OC, Chris.
It was in the OC, exactly.
It was in the OC. The Killers is, I'm that person that you're talking about. The soundtrack of the youth, that's us. Like, the Killers summer is here. I feel like there's definitely a little groundswell around, maybe it's just the grunge vibe, maybe it's just our little circle, but I'm feeling the Killers buzz again.
I think so.
And I'm so happy for it because it just makes life feel a little bit bigger when you listen to it. And also a little bit smaller because it's what you listened to growing up. But that's the grandiose side of the band.
Yeah.
And then of course all the music that is adjacent to the 2000s. There's some pretty. There's 1 or 2 songs that come out post 2000. It looks like everything else was pretty much before then.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So. All right, that brings us to the stuff that did make the cut.
The list.
That made the list.
Because people love lists.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, people love lists. Lists are in. They've always been in. And so we are going to go and start where we need to, and that is "Let the Good Times Roll" by The Cars. This song is just I mean, it sets up summer, right? I mean, the good times roll, dude. You have to have the right mindset going into summer. It's big. The Cars have that sound that is just, I don't know, classic, and harmonies and good guitar work, and it's a lot of fun, and it's they're forgotten as a band for some reason. They just don't get the same like airwave. I mean, airplay as some other.
It's a competitive
bands.
space.
It's a competitive space, yeah, but they were a really, really solid institution back in the 70s and 80s. So
yeah, speaking of my own experience last summer, I had this on my summer playlist last year, and it's definitely a winner for this time of year. That's a great track. I'll lead off my portion of this list with one that's close to home around here, and that's going to be Spoon Man by Soundgarden. So as you know, we're including this one along with some of my honorable mentions from the like grunge alternative rock from the 90s. You can see that there was a formula here that I was kind of keying in on in terms of just the tempo of some of these songs. But Spoon Man is just, I think you got to have it. I think it's going to be a big summer for the Spoon Man, and
always.
I definitely don't need to speak at length as to what makes this song great. We all know it. And it's, as I said,
Rick
it's a
Beato
hit.
broke it down for everybody
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
If you want to really get
the
into
Rick Beatos and the Matt Winekers of the world will provide some musical knowledge about it. And
we just say it's sick.
We're just here to say it's cool. That's about it.
Check it out. You're gonna like this one. That's great. Great song. Obviously, big Spoon Man summer. I'm gonna stay in the grunge zone, but actually, this is not from the 90s. This came out very recently. And I'm going to say Waiting for Stevie by Pearl Jam,
Yes.
One of our favorite songs from Dark Matter. And this is a feel-good song, right? This is it. There is some anticipation involved for Waiting for Stevie, Stevie Wonder, if you will. And dude, just it has that feel that we're looking for.
Yeah.
And you got to have a Pearl Jam song on there. So this song is a hit, man. I'm excited to listen to it. Driving.
It's actually named for Stevie Wonder, right? Like you've heard that story? Okay.
Yeah, we said it on the podcast.
Gotcha.
Actually.
Yeah,
I think you said it. That's why
they were waiting for Stevie Wonder in the studio, and they're just ripping out some
crazy
licks.
random pool. Yeah,
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. Talk about hitting a home run 440 feet. That would have been like a 115 exit velo, though. That would have been hot off the bat. Yeah, this song's got to be there.
Needs to, yeah.
Yeah, I actually I've started listening to Dark Matter a little bit more. As it happens with new releases, like you hit it hard when it comes out, and you kind of forget about it. Especially with Pearl Jam, you spend a lot of your time with Verses and Yield and what have you. But I've gone back and I've been listening a little bit more to Dark Matter, and I'm still high on it, man. I still think it's a great album. So I'm glad to see. Well. Yeah, I'm glad to see it represented here. It took me a while to narrow down the specific song from this artist on this playlist. We mentioned him on This Day in Music a little bit earlier, but I'm going to add No Surrender by Bruce Springsteen from the Born in the USA album. His entire album could have been included. I think all of the songs lend themselves really well. It's kind of a little bit of combination of what I think about the songs, but also my own experiences. Back when I didn't have an aux cord or anything, I was big on CDs, as we all know, as I've said. And this song never left my car in the summer months, and it was always in my CD player. I would just play it over and over and over again with my friends. Like we'd be home from college, going down to the beach, and it was just a great addition to that atmosphere and that mindset. So, No Surrender, perfect track.
Mm-hmm. Dang, all these CDs you talk about were always in your car or always in the CD player.
I mentioned
Which
like
was
6 of them. My old car, I had an O2 Highlander. It had a huge center console, and I filled it to the brim with CDs. I had like 14 of them in there.
The disc changer on that car was massive. I had 7.
It was my own hands. I had to do it all by hand. Kids these days don't get it.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna move on to. We got to get in some yacht rock, and this one was huge for my dad when I played it on the golf course for an outing the other week, and he was like, "Did you put this song on?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the song is "Ride Like the Wind" by Christopher Cross. Here's
I think this was
Christopher Cross.
There he is.
That's what he looks like right now.
Excellent. I think this was a song of the week of yours back in the day. Yeah,
it was. It was like not too long ago because. And I hadn't heard it until, I probably heard it when I was younger, but my dad, he was like, yeah, and he brought up one of my high school basketball teammates, like me and his father. We used to drive around town listening to this song in the 80s, and you'd ride like the wind. I mean, it just, the summer winds are blowing and you're driving the car. It sounds like something that you listen to in the summer, and it was very appropriate at the time. And it's always good when some Dave Shalloway lore comes out. So yeah, a lot of yacht rock, and this one just stands out right now for me.
Yeah, gotta have it. Gotta have it.
A lot of trumpets.
Oh, yeah. It's always a good time for some trumpets. My next addition to the playlist is going to be I Can't Help Myself by Four Tops, the vaunted group, Motown group from Detroit. And, for me, summertime, I always kind of think of 60s barbecue, getting outside, some Motown, some soul kind of stuff going on. And this has long been a favorite song of mine during the summer months. It just kind of makes me want to sit behind the wheel of a big old car, just drive nice and slow with the windows down and head to a barbecue. Kind of, once again, I wanted a representative from this genre of music, and it's kind of hard to narrow it down sometimes. But I think this is one that serves the summer months very, very well.
Yeah, great song that everybody will recognize, and you can't just help but kind of bounce around, bounce your head. And that's exactly what we're looking for in this time.
You better believe it.
But now moving to a little more serious, say, rock song, and actually going to go back to this day in music to introduce it. So my song is Sultans of Swing. And on this day, in 1978, Dire Straits' self-titled album is released, and it featured Sultans of Swing. I listened to the Live Aid performance in Wembley by them from 1985, and it is such a jam. It is so intense. It's pretty long. I think it's
it's 11 minutes.
Yeah, 11 minutes long, and just a ripper of a song. And I used it for my drive the other week, and I was like, dude, this song is so energetic and really, really good. And guitar work. I mean, this long version has everything you need in a good jam. It goes up and down, and just really, really good instrumentals. And so, it's got to be on the list.
Yeah, that entire Live Aid benefit show, in Philadelphia and at Wembley Stadium in London, specifically the Wembley portion of it. I mean, Dire Straits' set, Queen's set, and U2's set, I think are up there. Certainly the best of the day, and David Bowie as well over there at Wembley Stadium. I think they're on the short list of some of the best live performances ever. I've long felt that way about U2's from that day, and Bowie especially, as well as Queen and Dire Straits too. I mean, these guys were the biggest acts in the world at the time. So the fact that, there were certain people there that you got to see all of that at one place, one day, unbelievably cool. So
yeah, it really, those were really special. The Queen performance, I love watching.
Oh yeah,
love watching that. It was prominently in the biopic, the Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know if you consider that a biopic, but that was really, really excellent.
Yeah. So my next song, close to home for me, once again, geographically speaking, and is going to be Boston and their song Peace of Mind from their debut album. I've always had this one on every single driving playlist I've ever made, and there's kind of like a weird intersection of, if it's good to listen to behind the wheel of a car, it's probably going to be good to listen to during the summer. And Boston, they were absolutely unbelievable in terms of debut albums. I think this is once again on a short list, their self-titled album, which came out in '76. I could have picked More Than a Feeling. I could have picked Rock and Roll Band Smokin' as well. Foreplay Long Time. I mean, it's just a feel-good album, and Brad Delp, the lead singer, was
excellent, top
of his game and top of the world in terms of his abilities, and gotta have it here.
Yeah, Boston, the More Than a Feelings and Peace of Mind, those songs were heavily played to me as a young kid. I think it was one of the few songs, you get 3 or 4 songs downloaded to the iPod back in the day, and that was the 3 or 4 songs from Boston. So I was heavy rotation. My dad loved them. Another band like the Cars or Chicago and Boston, those guys were good. Yeah. Those guys were good. Great runs.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn. So, turn. Back to yacht rock. This is
everybody knows where this road is going.
Yeah, a lot of yacht rock. I mean,
going to the marina.
obviously Yacht Rock is hot. It's been hot for the last few years, but we got to take this to the streets. Taking It to the Streets by the Doobie Brothers off of that album, Taking It to the Streets. And this had, in the words of one of the reviews, maximum hook potential.
Oh, that is an excellent line right there.
Yeah, they were like, we're just gonna repeat heavy chords, repeated, and just like you said, repeat the chorus. Just get it out there, like take it to the streets, and that's exactly what they did. And easy sing along, and just that's what summer's all about, taking it to the streets. Yeah. So
I always have to wonder, and I'm not a musician, and I'm certainly not a Grammy award-winning producer, so I don't really know what's going on because I don't have any musical knowledge. But when a band has a good hook like that, I mean, I always think of "Start Me Up" by the Rolling Stones. Like, it's like, how many times can we get away with singing the hook or saying the title of the song? Like John Mellencamp with "Small Town," like you're rhyming "small town" with "small town," and it's just taking it to the streets over and over and over again.
So I did a javelin clinic this weekend with Tom, and he referenced an old coach that was really excellent. I can't remember his name, and his advice was, if it's important, tell it to them every day. And that's if it's really important, tell them every day, because that's what will make them remember. So that's exactly what the Doobie Brothers were thinking. Like, it's important, so I'm going to tell them every 5 seconds in the song
it's
to
like
take it to the streets.
If you've got something that's good, you better believe you're playing it all damn day.
Tell them every day. Yep, taking it to the streets.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And a little spoiler alert: this is not the last of the Doobie Brothers we've seen on this playlist. But
of course not.
Yeah, it's just they are inevitable. The Doobie Brothers are inevitable in the summer. My next song is going to be unlike anything that we've talked about so far, and it is a song called "Hurts" by Amyl and the Sniffers, who are from Australia. They're a punk band, and I don't really know too much about them. I forget where I didn't really hear this song until not that long ago, and there's nothing particularly summery about it. I've just been really, really obsessed with it the last couple of months, so I felt like it's another side of the coin here that we're going to include. Do you know this band? Do you know this song at all?
I don't know. Yeah, let's do it right before we came on.
Yeah.
To have no. Yeah. Sometimes you got to give them a spotlight. I totally understand.
And I suppose if we do need a tie into the summer, the chorus does say, "Take me to the beach, take me to the country." So there we go. A confirmed summer song. That's like when you try to vet what's a Christmas movie or not. It's like if there's one single solitary reference to Christmas, then it's a Christmas movie. So they say beach, so it's a summer song.
That's awesome. Moving on, another guy needed to be on there. I've been listening to him a ton right now, and it is "Brown Eyed Girl" by Van Morrison. You stamped it and said that you were going to put it on if I didn't. The song came out in 1967 off of the "Blowing Your Mind" album, and I can't believe that dude. I can't believe, he had stuff in the 60s. Like, it just seems so long ago now. It's just crazy.
Well, the craziest thing about this is like a tailor-made like pop, easily accessible song, and then Van Morrison went on to write like Astral Weeks and Into the Mystic, St. Dominic's Preview, like all of these like very, very ambitious songs that are more works of art than they are songs or pieces of music, and it just goes to show you the range. I was always a big fan of like Into the Mystic and a lot of those songs that are, as I said, like a little bit more ambitious and develop it a little bit more. And then you go back and you hear this, it's like, wow, like there's quite a change from 60s Van Morrison to like 71, 72 Van Morrison. But that's a talented man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The voice is so much fun. Fun.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, you're up.
I am up, and as I said, they're back. The Doobie Brothers. I don't think you can have the summer months without turning up the volume on "What a Fool Believes" from their album "Minute by Minute," released in 1978. And Michael McDonald, man, he is the absolute MVP. And I like, hot take here. It might not be a hot take, but like, this is one of the best vocal performances of the 70s,
incredible,
and maybe
stuff
of all time. He just absolutely, to borrow the terminology from Van Morrison, he is blowing your mind on this one.
He is, dude. Who's like, I don't know, falsettos. Who's gonna go up and down and
just unmatched range.
Yeah, and the the piano work and the simple simple construction of the song is it tailors to setting up the voice, and he knocks it out of the park. Dingers, really,
man.
really good stuff. Yeah, the Doobie Brothers they're my favorite yacht rock band.
Yeah.
Or at least they hold the crown right now. I guess maybe.
Yeah.
I tried to find an Eagles song to put on here.
Yeah.
And it was all really soft California rock, obviously, and I just decided not to. It didn't feel like the Eagles deserved much play this summer.
Oh, they haven't earned it.
Even though we talked highly on them a few episodes ago for being the top of the family tree, but I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling the Eagles for the summer of 25. So
hey, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, but the band needs to be on here. So I decided to put The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down by the band on the list. A lot of times when I think about summer songs, obviously we talk about driving a lot. For some reason, I think you just remember driving in the heat of summer more than you remember driving when it's cold. So or you're doing road trips and this and that, but bonfires are really important for the summer, and you're sitting down what are you going to put on? And putting on the band, having something that everybody can sing the la la la's together, and it's just a very comforting song.
Yeah.
Obviously
Levon Helm, dude.
Levon, I was about to say, you got the voice. It's just it's just a beautiful song.
Yeah, I almost included "Don't Do It" by the band on this list, but yeah, they're definitely necessary for this. I'm glad you gave voice to the necessity. People listen to this, it's like these guys in the summer, all they do is just drive around in their cars.
Yeah,
so you gotta sit down sometimes. Yeah, that's definitely a good campfire bonfire song, because you've got your beach summer, and then you have your camping summer.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've not been giving equal time, so I'm glad that camping summer has had an addition here that's firmly belonging to it.
The last playlist was a lot of the working summer, right? So it's a lot of beach summer, but the camping and the campfire summer is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm up next, and it's time that we have an entry from the godmother of grunge, and that would be Olivia Rodrigo. I'm going to choose her song "Bad Idea" right from the Guts album, which came out in 2023 or 2024. Once again, what was it was what did they say? It was a hook potential or something, maximum hook potential. Yeah. I mean, that's all of Olivia Rodrigo's songs. If it's important,
tell them every day.
Yeah. This song, it's so fun. And the chorus is just so catchy. Say what you will about the songwriting processes employed by Olivia and her team, or, if you don't like it or not, but you cannot deny that it is some unbelievably catchy music, and gotta have her here.
Oh yeah. They talk about hits. Yeah, I almost decided to put on the Pink Pony Club because
that was we had our honorable mentions, and then there's a sub series below honorable mention that didn't quite make it. That might be first in line, first outside of the bubble.
Yeah. Just sometimes a tough pull, dealing with the audience, but
that's true. I feel like people are pretty open-minded that listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay. Where am I at? So, like I said, we have different type of summer modes, and I thought it'd be funny to go to Radar Love after this, because this by Golden Earring, and I guess my father said this is the ultimate driving song. So, yeah, another really good song to, just grip the wheel. He says first lyric is been driving all night, hands wet on the wheel. So
that's it, man.
It's pretty much just a super driving song. Gets really big, and gotta listen to it.
Yeah, it's all that needs to be said sometimes. My next song is going to be from Jethro Tull. And I don't know really anything about Jethro Tull. I couldn't name any of their songs except this one.
That's all you need, dude.
I'm going to add Locomotive Breath exclusively for the flute solo that's included in here. So lately, as I've mentioned before, like the gym that I've been going to, our coach will like toss around the iPad and like everybody gets to add a song to the queue, and then it just kind of rolls on from there. And he played this one time, and like the flute was just absolutely on fire from this song. And since then, like it's made an appearance every single time that we've like popcorned the iPad around. And it's, there's a lot of lore developing for this when you're just like ripping some heavy back squats to the flute from this song. And, this song it's a song for all seasons, but I think you definitely need some flute going on in the summertime.
It's so good. And this song, it always makes you remember, it always reminds me of the scene in Anchorman where
yeah, exactly.
Ron Burgundy he's like, oh, come on, play. He's like, oh, I'm not even prepared. And he pulls the flute out of his thing. And in the middle of it, he just screams, locomotive breath, and my dad always thought it was really funny. And then I listened to it, and that scene is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but locomotive breath is like a certified banger when you come to just slightly different, musical arrangements. Obviously the flute solo is heat. It's just everything about it is just a little different than what you're going to listen to. So yeah, great choice. I'm really happy that you put that on there. And
hell yeah.
I mean, Jethro Tull, what a name.
Oh yeah.
What an absolute name. So, all right, I'm going to move down to another song that just puts you in the right mindset. We're going to go with Beautiful Day by U2. Just critical to have a U2 song on there. We're talking about the Killers and how it makes you feel like life is really big. Yeah, beautiful day. It feels like when you wake up and you go out and you got the morning sun shining from a summer day, and go for a walk and talk about putting yourself in a good mood. I mean, it's an all-timer.
Yeah, and this one doesn't need much explanation at
exactly.
all. I think everybody knows this one too, and it's always welcome.
Yeah. Absolutely. You put on more U2. I mean, I was plenty of songs to pick
Streets
from.
Have No Name. Anything from Joshua Tree, man. That could have made an appearance. But
you have to tell me twice.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, I'm in. We're gonna return to the scene of the crime here, Ethan. And if there's one thing, one place you have to go when it's all said and done, and the sun sets and the street lights turn on and the bright lights of down in the city turn on, you got to go downtown. That's right, everybody. Downtown from Neil Young's album Mirror Ball is an official song of Grunge Bible Summer 2025. We discussed this one at length when we reviewed Mirror Ball a few weeks ago, and I echo all of those sentiments loudly and proudly today. And it's just perfect. We need it.
It really is. It's so good. I'm glad you put it on
Downtown tonight.
We are, dude. I think we're putting together a really good playlist.
I think this is a good list. Yeah,
there's a lot of hits, obviously, and it's so good. And we're gonna go with another one. So we're entering into the '90s, summer hits of the '90s, rock and roll. This is actually right at the end of it's in '99, but we're gonna go "Steal My Sunshine" by Len off of the album Go, and this one. I hope that everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When I say
if they don't recognize the name, I'm sure if they listened to 3 seconds of it, they would.
Yeah. And it's just unique, right? But it has that the songs that stood out in the '90s, so like the Litz and the Vertical Horizon and the kind of rock. But this one even more so, is special and just really puts you in a good mood. So.
Oh yeah.
You can listen to it during the winter's months, but you need the sunshine. You need something to steal. So. Steal My Sunshine by Len.
100%. My next song here, kind of speaking of the hits, I think this is a really solid playlist, and I'm very happy that I was able to include this one. I'm shocked I didn't include it when we did this one last year, but as far as I could tell, I didn't. But we're going with She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult. I'm sure it's a Song of the Week alum. We've spoken about it on the podcast. I posted a bunch on the page. This is one of the best songs from the 1980s by my standing, and it's a great summer song. This one always comes on like when me and the fellas are hanging out, like whether we're obviously driving the car or if we're outside, like throwing the football around, drinking, grilling, anything like that. This one always makes it, and this is always I'm not an 80s guy musically, but this is always one. And even if people aren't, 80s people, like this always kind of gets people's head turning, if they don't know what it is. A lot of times this one will come on and people are like, what is this? Like this is pretty good. And that's as good of an endorsement as you can get.
So good. So good. Another guy that we cannot leave off the list. And I was looking at a few of the songs, and I actually picked this one, specifically because of the lyrics. And the song is by Jimmy Buffett, "A Pirate Looks at 40." And man, I could just read the whole thing is just great. But one of the lyrics, one of the verse, he says, "And I have been drunk now for over 2 weeks. I passed out and I rallied and I sprung a few leaks. But I gotta stop wishing, got to go fishing, down to rock bottom again, just a few friends, just a few friends."
I made enough money to buy Miami, but I pissed it away so fast.
I was just so. Yes, I am a pirate. 200 years too late. The cannons don't thunder. There's nothing to plunder. I'm an over 40 victim of fate, arriving too late. He's preaching to all of us.
It's funny because that's so depressing, but it's such a calming song. It's so good. I tell you,
bonfire on the beach song, dude.
Oh yeah, I just about jumped out of my chair when I saw that you added this because I absolutely love this song. And Ethan, do you remember when we graduated college? We graduated, but we still had some postseason left for track and field, so we're competing, and then
free time.
Invariably, the postseason ends and you're done. And that time, certainly for me, I think for you as well, if I remember back, there was that limbo period where we were still hanging around our college town. We hadn't started a job yet. We hadn't gone back home. We were just kind of lingering, not really doing much of anything. It was around that time that I saw Jimmy Buffett live. And then I don't even know what I was doing during the days. Cause I hadn't started my job yet. And obviously wasn't training anymore. And I took what is to this day the best nap of my life, falling asleep to "A Pirate Looks at 40" by Jimmy Buffett. I had it on repeat because I was like, dude, this song is so good. I just saw Jimmy Buffett. It's so relaxing. Yep. And I had the best nap of my life while this song was just playing over and over again in the background. And I was like, man, if I could ever make it to a point in life that I could just kick back and nap while this song is playing consistently, I'm going to be all right. And ever since then, this is need to have this one.
That's amazing. If you were to make a napping playlist, you could put a lot of Jimmy Buffett songs on there, not because they're boring, but because it's soothing.
It's soothing. Yeah, man.
It's that hammock rock, dude. That laying in the hammock and the bonfire beach rock. Good stuff.
A fun fact about Jimmy Buffett is that he wrote an autobiography that was titled "A Pirate Looks at 50" because he released it around his 50th birthday.
Dude, he was a legend.
Dude, he was people.
I wish
we don't talk about him enough.
Yeah, and we've been talking about him more, but it's still not enough. I need to. I wish I could have saw him. I wish I would have been a part of the Parrot Heads, man.
Yeah, dude, the Parrot Heads, they're alive and well, and they carry Jimmy's legacy with them every single time they take it easy.
The perfect name for the legend he was.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy Buffett.
You better believe it. We're closing in. I think we're closing in on the end of the list here, but I have my penultimate song, I believe. This is once again an artist that I knew had to be here, but it took me a while to figure out which song I wanted to include. And then I realized I was just kind of overcomplicating it a little bit, and I just decided to go with one of the hits. And for those reasons, I'm going to include "Free Fallin'" by Tom Petty from Full Moon Fever, which I think came out, 1989. That was a good year for some music, man, 89. And this is just... it's a hit for a reason. I don't think there's a soul on this planet who doesn't know this song. And one of those songs, I think a lot of times songs get overplayed and people get tired of them. I think this one is definitely overplayed, but I don't think anybody gets tired of it.
No, this one holds its ground really well.
And as I've gotten older, I just appreciate the lyrics of this song so much more. And it's just Tom Petty was so good, dude. Every single time we talk about him and every single time he comes on a playlist of mine, I'm like, man, I spend a good amount of time with his music, but it's not enough. I really need to spend more time just because he was unbelievably talented and gifted. And his voice was just perfect for the way that he wrote his songs and the way that he played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really happy that you put some Tom Petty on the list. yeah, there's plenty of songs that you can choose, but this one is an absolute legendary song. So, all right, yeah, my penultimate song. So, the Rolling Stones decided.
No, so you are saving the other one for last.
Oh yeah, I'm saving the other one for last because I mean, there's two ways I could have went about this, but I think you can't always get what you want by the Stones. Just the rock and roll at its finest. I love the beginning, obviously with the choir singing, and this song is, it's hard to give a different reason for everything, but this song just is summer, right? Like we did Jumpin' Jack Flash last time.
Yes, we did.
Obviously, that's when we were listening to the great Don Steele. But anyway, this song, just the Stones they're moving up. I'm listening to them a little bit more, and I'm just having fun with it. And so this
I remember sitting on the porch in Pittsburgh at the beginning of that summer, and that song we played that one quite a bit. You can't always get what you want. Kind of when we were like really, really starting to kind of connect over music that spring and summer. So
I think summer, there's just a ton of opportunities and stuff that you want to do, and you can't do everything. There's a lot of things that don't work out, or plans that you make in a drunken haze that never come to fruition, right? And it just comes down to you can't always get what you want.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like as we're rounding out this playlist, I really feel that we did strike a good balance between like the get up and go summer versus like the you're just gonna sit and talk with your buddies and like have a beer element of summer. So that's definitely a kind of sit and chat and have that one on in the background. So I'm glad that you added that one. I was happy to see that one. So I will move forward to my final song of the playlist here. And I'm glad that you mentioned the real Don Steele moments ago, because that was a big influence on us last summer. It was all like the boss radio DJs of the 60s really just bringing it to you over the airwaves. And this song is firmly from that era and firmly from that kind of that mood and that style. And it's going to be The Letter by Joe Cocker. I just for all of the reasons that you kind of want to listen to those boss DJs back in the day, this is great. Joe Cocker, it's just fun music, and his voice was just gold, and it's never a bad time to be throwing on some Joe Cocker.
Needs to be on the list. Needs to be on the list. Comes out for the summer as just like always comes out for the summer. So, all right, final song. This is the only song that is on both playlists that came up last.
It has to be on every playlist every summer. It has to be on
every playlist every summer. And believe it or not, we talked about a little bit of softball in the beginning, but summer is for baseball, right? How can you not be romantic about baseball? You got the hot summer games, you got the night games under the lights. You got the softball tournaments on the weekends. You got the Little League tournaments that go all day, all week. Sports at the beach, taking your kids to play. You have to play at Myrtle Beach, or you get to play at the different tournaments and Little League World Series, all these things. And, every kid's dream, I think, or baseball dream, when they grew up, they probably watched The Sandlot. And when you're watching The Sandlot and you hear the beautiful, sweet, piercing guitar work from Norman Greenbaum of Spirit in the Sky, and you got the delay of the guitar, like the wah 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 dropping down.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just an absolute banger. It's connected to childhood baseball. It's just a beautiful song. I think it was a gold. It came out in 1969, gold record song. Just one hit wonder, as they say.
That's the thing. You say Norman Greenbaum, there's no uncertainty as to what song.
Yep, Norman Green bombs away, dude. Absolutely hit him out the park. This is just you guys know this is the song for the summer. This is like, play it for your golf tournament, play it for your baseball outing. It's going to come on over the loudspeaker, and just there's something about like I said, that drop down, like do. It feels like summer heat. For some reason, like it feels like you're in the heat. So man, it's just such a good song, dude. Can't say enough about it.
I'll tell you, like, I really hope that that when I die and they lay me to rest, I am gonna go to the place that's the best. I hope I get recommended to the Spirit in the Sky.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this one's great. And like, this is one of those, like, I'm sure there's more music that Norman Greenbaum did, but I don't want to know about it. You know,
not now.
No, I just don't need, you don't need to know about everything. And I really don't want to know. Yeah, apparently he is the best selling one hit wonder of all time.
Absolutely, dude. He's the OG. I mean, this is like you said, I don't want to know about anything because right now his story is perfect.
Yeah.
His history, his lore, his legacy, like, I don't want to mess with it.
So apparently, as I just said, I don't want to know about it, but Norman Greenbaum released 3 albums, Spirit in the Sky in 1969, Back Home Again in 1970, and then Petaluma in 72. And then, so we already had Spirit in the Sky, the album. 1995, Spirit in the Sky, the best of Norman Greenbaum. 1997, Spirit in the Sky, the best of Norman Greenbaum, again. 2003, Spirit in the Sky, the definitive anthology. Hey, it's like what we said, if you have a hit, you got to say it over and over again.
That's right. If it's important, tell them every day.
Tell them every day.
Maximum
amazing.
Hit machine. Oh
so good news is Norman Greenbaum is still alive. He's 82 years old. He was born in 1942.
Wow.
What a legend, dude.
Yeah, absolute legend. Like you said, dude. Yeah. Incredible. Beautiful hair, beautiful mustache. Yeah, he deserves to be at the head of the table for the summer playlist. And, and he has that spot.
He is the forefather.
2 years running. So that wraps it up for the wonderful 25 songs of Summer 25. That is our songs of the week. Obviously, we put them all right there. We got a playlist made for you. So please go ahead and take it as you will. Listen and let us know when is the best time to be listening to those songs.
You better believe it, man. That's it. We'll link it in the show notes. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're listening to this summer. And that's about all there is to it, man.
That's it. That is it. Well, we got summer living to get to, and everybody else does. So please enjoy your week. Have a great time. Thanks for listening. We are going to be back next week with another episode. Maybe we'll have that. Maybe we'll have a guest on. You never know.
Maybe
we'll
be
not.
Working behind the scenes.
We absolutely will. So thank you, everybody. And stay safe out there and stay cool.
Rock and roll, everyone. Take care.